Sage.
Hey, Dani.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
What are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about, like our top 3 scariest movies. But before we get into that, who are we?
We're hags.
We're your hags.
Silence of the Hags.
Yes, welcome to Silence of the Hags. Welcome back. This is our third
Halloweek episode.
Halloweek episode. So happy day 3 of Halloweek. Let us know how you guys are liking it so far.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I kind of mentioned before, today we're going to be talking about our top 3 spooky movies. Ones that you can maybe watch this spooky season. We have 4 more days left till Halloween, so you have lots of time to watch hopefully 6 out of 6 of these, or maybe even just 4 out of 6 of these. Maybe just take the top 2 from both of us. Whatever feels right to you. So I think, oh, sorry, just had to move my chair there. I think let's just jump into it. I think we're going to keep this one pretty short and sweet.
We're going to be telling you our scariest, top 3 scariest movies. Maybe they're not actually scary, but at the time,
they were, yes, exactly.
A little unsettling when we first watched them.
Totally.
The ones that stuck with us.
Yeah, my 3 are like the ones that either I remember vividly being terrified of, or, ones that like stuck with me afterwards, which doesn't happen to me very often.
Yes.
So I guess maybe I will start?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Sweet. Okay, so I'm going to start with my third. So this one I saw in theaters, so it was very scary. It was to the point where the person in front of us, because I went with my friend, person in front of us turned around and told us to shut up because we were screaming.
Oh my god, how old were you?
We were like, must have been like 8th grade. Well, 2012. Yeah, must have been like 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade. So I was like, what, 12? How old are you in 8th grade? 12? 13? 13. So I was like 13. Okay, in my defense. So mine is Woman in Black. So
I do remember, sorry,
no, go for it.
That movie didn't scare me, but I do remember the scene when he's like walking and the fucking crow like comes out of the bush in front of him and he's like that. Literally, like I don't scream in movies. Yeah. That scared the shit out of me. Like totally. I was not expecting that at all.
Well, I remember like when we went to, because I have always loved scary movies because I get it, I think, from my dad, and I was super excited because my dad is super into Hammer, like the film house Hammer, who does like Frankenstein and all of that kind of stuff. And Woman in Black was like the first recent Hammer film to come out, so I was super stoked to go see it. And in the first like 10 minutes, there's this awful jump scare where because, well, here I'll tell you what the movie's about first, and then we'll kind of get into that. Sorry. So Woman in Black is about a solicitor, Arthur Kipps, in London, who is grieving over the death of his beloved wife, Stella, who passed away tragically during the delivery of their son, Joseph, only 4 years before this movie takes place. His employer gives him a last chance to keep his job, and he is assigned to travel to the remote village of Crithen Gifford to examine the documentation of the Eelmarsh house that belonged to a recently deceased Mrs. Drablow. Arthur befriends Daly on the train, and the man offers him a ride to the Gifford Arms Inn. This is back when cars are not very common, just by the way. Arthur has a cold reception, and the owner of the inn tells him that he did not receive the request of the reservation and there's no available rooms. The next morning, Arthur meets solicitor Jerome, who advises him to return to London. However, Arthur goes to the isolated manor, and soon he finds that Eelmarsh House is haunted by the vengeful ghost of a woman dressed in black. He also learns that the woman lost her son drowned in the marsh and seeks revenge by taking the children of the locals. So basically, if anyone sees this woman in black anywhere, whether it be at Eelmarsh House, whether it be in town, doesn't matter, a child dies. Okay. So, yes. At the beginning of the movie, though, the very first jump scare is, I'm going to spoil it. This movie is, 8 years old now? If you haven't seen it by now. Spoiler alert. go watch it. But it's just, he's just in Eelmarsh house. This is his first time getting there. It's completely abandoned. There's paperwork everywhere. It hasn't been lived in for a long time. And he's just in the kitchen, and suddenly the tap turns on, but it's like a super loud sound, and it's spitting like this mud water everywhere, and it scared the shit out of me. And that's when I was like, oh god, what have I gotten myself into? I'm in a theater right now. And it was like packed in there. Like, it was one of the first nights that it was out, so it was not my finest moment, because yeah, I think I was screaming the entire time. So after the fact, didn't really spook me, but at the time, oh my god, I was shitting myself. So I would say that that's my number 3.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. That movie didn't really scare me.
Well, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, no, sorry. It's not my fault, you're a little bitch.
Oh my god. You're not fucking wrong, but how dare you?
Yeah, no, that was a good movie, though. I did like that movie. My third one is Lovely Molly.
Oh, that one's good. Yeah, yes, that one's so good. Oh, so I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I know, I did too. It's about Molly and her new husband, Tim. They've moved into Molly's deceased parents' house out in the country. But not long after they move in, Molly starts getting haunted by forgotten memories, or so she thought. Her husband, Tim, is a truck driver, and while he's away, she starts seeing things and hearing things that she can't explain. She slips back into old habits involving drugs. She was a recovering heroin addict. Her sister, Hannah, gets worried about her, as does her pastor and her boss. But there's more to what's happening than most people know. It all comes out in the most horrific ways, and not everyone is safe. This movie was actually, I didn't know this until I was like looking up the synopsis of the movie. It's from the same creator of Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
So it's really good, really freaky. Some good like jump scares. You know how sometimes like paranormal movies are like too suspenseful? You know, like there's like too much suspense where you're like, just fucking give me something like.
Oh yes. You
know, like Paranormal
where it's just
Activity,
like all stress and no substance.
Yes, totally. Exactly. This movie has a healthy serving of both.
Yes. Yeah.
It's got some good like scares, and also some like good suspense moments where you think something's gonna happen and then nothing ends up happening, but you've been sitting there like bracing yourself. And
it's honestly it's just so fucking freaky. It's like one of those ones that you think about after you're finished watching it, for sure.
I know. When I was looking up, like, because I've seen so many horror movies, but when I was like having to look up like some horror movies to like jog my memory of what I've seen, and I saw this, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot about this movie.
For sure. I love that. Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
Yeah. It's very good. Would highly recommend.
Yes, please watch it. If you honestly, Woman in Black, don't get me wrong, I love it. One of my fave movies, but if you're gonna pick Lovely Molly or Woman in Black for one of your 4 movies, pick Lovely Molly. It's fucked. It's so good though.
And what I feel, I mean, maybe I don't know. I have a hard time paying attention in movies, and Women in Black is definitely a movie that you have to pay attention in to understand what's going on. Lovely Molly isn't. No. Like you can stop paying attention and then like pick back up and still later, know where you are. Totally. Yeah.
Okay, so I think my second one is The Others. Ooh.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
So good.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones my parents always were saying, like, anytime we show it to, like, one of our siblings for the first time, they always say, I'm so jealous. I wish I could be watching this for the first time. And with this movie in particular, I totally get that.
Yeah.
So The Others is about a woman named Grace who retires with her 2 children to a mansion in Jersey towards the end of the Second World War, where she's waiting for her husband to come home from battle. The children have a disease, which means they cannot be touched by direct sunlight without being hurt in some way. They will live alone there with oppressive, strange, and almost religious rules. I don't know why. Sorry. So I got these synopsises from IMDb, just by the way. I don't know why it says almost religious rules, because they are religious rules, until she needs to hire a group of servants for them. Their arrival will accidentally begin to break the rules with unexpected consequences. This movie is wild. You have no idea what's going on almost the whole movie. The first part, you think you know what's going on, and then things start changing, and you have no idea what's happening, and then it ends, and you're like, what? But it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. I cannot say enough good things about this. Nicole Kidman is Grace, and she is just she's just a phenomenal actress in general, but holy cow, did she kill it in this role.
And I was going to say, too, usually I have a hard time watching, like, horror movies with, like, actual, like, super famous actors in it. Because I'm just like,
because it, like, takes you out of it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not seeing you as, like, that could be me because you're fucking Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, totally,
but this movie was really good.
Yeah,
like,
it's
really,
so
really good.
And it's kind of, it's like one of those ones that isn't super well known either. So all of you listeners who have not seen it yet, I'm so jealous of you for getting to watch it for the first time. It's honestly, it's just so good. This is one, I'm not spoiling this because you have to watch it. It's so freaking good.
It's really good.
Yeah. I don't know where you can find it, but find it, watch
Just
it.
rent
It's worth it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good movie. Well, my number 2. This might not actually be a scary movie. Well, it's definitely a horror movie, but, like, it's probably not scary to most people. But this movie scared the shit out of me because this is an actual genuine fear that I have.
Okay.
Is Hellfest.
Yeah, I haven't seen it actually.
It's gory. It's definitely like a slasher movie. Like, it is. So basically, on Halloween, these 3 young girls, I shouldn't say young girls, they're like adults, young women, and their boyfriends head to Hellfest, which is a ghoulish traveling carnival that has, like, a bunch of rides and games and mazes.
Nice.
But, like, in this one, so there's, like, a section of the park in this where the actors are allowed to touch you.
Ooh.
Which already, absolutely not.
Ooh.
It's basically just like a traveling Fright Night. Like, it's just a haunted house carnival with rides, and but everything's scary. But then there's, like, this part of the what's it called? Of the park where, like, you have to sign a waiver to get in because they're allowed to touch you.
Why would you ever? Why would you ever?
But the whole horror part of this movie, aside from the fucking mountain, like, just all haunted houses, is that somebody is killing people for real in the haunted houses. And obviously they like think they're being followed, and, like, they're like, this guy's touching us, and, like, so they go to security, and they're like, that's literally their fucking job, is to scare you. Yeah. Like, there are people are supposed to, like, follow groups around because it's scary and it freaks them out. Yeah. And, like, nobody believes them, and of course they start getting murdered. But there's this one scene. So that already is a fear of mine, is just being, like, actually murdered by a serial killer in a haunted house. Like, I don't like that. I don't like haunted house for that reason, because it cannot be that hard to just get in.
Okay, that's funny because I feel the same. I haven't been to Fright Night, and I'm just like, it would just be so easy, and no one would know, because all you have to do, you just have to show up in a costume. You don't even have to work there. You get to kill someone, and you just act like it's part of the thing, and then you leave, and then you're gone, and they have no idea who did it. It's also so easy.
Let me tell you, I have worked on a haunted house doing makeup before. There are so many fucking actors, and half of them have never seen each other before. So it is not that hard. Right? It is not that hard. And a lot of them, too, are, like, contracted on to, like, literally just work, like, maybe once a week. Yeah. So the odds of you not knowing the people you're working with
extremely high.
Are very high.
Yeah. No,
So
I fully agree.
Me. But there is this one scene, which is also, I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this on an episode, but I know you and I have talked about this. I don't like eyeball things. I don't
God, yeah.
It grosses me out. And there's this one scene where they, like, the camera does not pan away, and they're like, I don't even remember what it was, if it was a needle or a nail, I don't remember what it was, but they are fully sticking it into this man's eye, and they show the whole fucking thing. And that was, like, the one part of the movie where I was like, I actually, like, I can't watch, like, I cannot watch, my skin is, like, crawling, and I was like, this is already a fear of mine, and, like, I was already, like, freaked out for the whole movie, because I was like, this is, like, absolutely probable. That's why that movie scares me so much. And then we get to the scene where they turn around and are stabbing this man in the eye, and it's, like, close to the end of the movie, and I was like, oh god. I was like, this is so much worse than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's
but it's just so creepy, because it's like for me that fear is, like, so real, because it's like, you could be in a haunted house and be like, haha, like, I get your acting, but, like, stop fucking with me. I'm actually really scared. And they'll just, like, continue fucking with you. And you're like, okay, is this real? Or is this, like, are you still acting? Like, I'm genuinely very scared.
Fair.
So that's why I don't like haunted houses, and that's why this movie scares the living shit out of me.
Yeah, no.
I love the movie. I've seen it several times, but the acting is god-awful.
But that's
it's god-awful.
Part of the charm. That's like the Final Destination movie.
Yeah, it's like your classic slasher movie, and I think it's only like 2 or 3 years old. So
yeah,
the gory parts don't look fake in the slightest.
Really?
Like, they look.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Hellfest 2018.
Yeah.
Wow.
They look very real.
Oh, okay. That's gonna be.
It's unsettling.
That's on my 4 Halloween movie list.
Yes. It's a really good movie. Yeah. Don't go for the acting, because the acting and the storyline is rotten. Not great. But everything else, I'm sorry if you acted in that movie.
I'm not.
It wasn't very good. but yeah.
I love it. All right.
It was very freaky.
Yeah. No. That's I don't know. Haunted houses freak me out.
Yeah. No, thank you.
All right, and so I think my number 1, the scariest movie for me.
Oh, I'm ready.
So, I'm going to say this, okay? It doesn't scare me anymore. But for a few years, this was the scariest thing for me, and I have some stories as to why. The Grudge.
Yes.
2004, The Grudge, with my girl Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh my God, Danny knows. I've told these stories to Danny.
You've told one of them on an episode.
Yeah. Oh, have I already?
You told us about your sister.
Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, well, that's my story. I'm gonna tell it again quickly in this because, yeah, if you're new. But The Grudge. Oh my God. So basically, The Grudge is about a woman named Karen Davis, who is an American nurse who moves to Tokyo and encounters a supernatural spirit who is vengeful and often possesses its victims. A series of horrifying and mysterious deaths start to occur, with the spirit passing its curse onto each victim. Karen must now find a way to break the spell before she becomes its next victim. So this is the I wonder if I can even do it. Oh my God, this is gonna be so embarrassing.
Are you gonna make the sound?
Yeah, I don't think I can though. Did you hear that squeak?
Jesus. You already said you were gonna do it. Come on.
There. Oh my God. So that's the sound. Okay, the worst. It's awful, and it's hard to make that sound, and it's so loud, and it's just, gross. But I don't know why, but that was the movie for me. It just, like, that was the very first, like, movie that really, I mean, the others I watched when it was one of my first kind of scary movies, and I had to turn it off the first time I watched it. But after I was, like, into horror movies, they never really freaked me out. Like, I'd get jump scares while I was watching them, but after the fact, nothing ever bothered me.
Yeah.
Not The Grudge. The Grudge was horrifying to me. I was so scared that I was going to be washing my hair one day and suddenly feel hands at the back of my skull, and oh my God, okay, my sister, this is the story. I've already told it. I'm telling it again. My sister, who is, oh my goodness, how, 7 years younger than me? She's 15 and I'm 23, so about 8 years younger than me. She used to hide under my bed, and I would come into my room and had no idea she was there. I'd be doing my thing for like 5 minutes, and suddenly she would make the Grudge sound. And I swear to God, I almost pissed myself so many times because it's like my worst fear, and suddenly it's coming from under my bed. So thank you, Asia, for that trauma. Jesus. So I think that's my number 1, just because for so long it was so scary for me.
Yeah, that's
fair.
And
then when I told people about it, people were like, "That movie's not scary." I'm like, "Fuck you, it's terrifying." So yeah, that's my number 1. That's my number 1.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Childhood scary movies are,
they run
This
deep.
one's not on my list, but I already told you about this. But yeah, the first Halloween movie I ever watched, I was like 7 years old, and I went to Blockbuster with my mom, and I was like, I'm ready. Like, Mom, I'm ready to watch my first scary movie. And she was like, okay, what do you want to watch? And I wanted to watch Scream, but unfortunately somebody had already taken it out, so I could not watch Scream. So I opted for Scream 2. I made it a solid, like, 4 minutes into that movie and just was sobbing. And that was the end of it. I don't even think I've ever watched the movie to this day. Because, like, it made it to, like, the scene, like, it was literally the opening scene, like, where there's, like, a little girl, like, singing, or a little boy, whatever, singing, like, in the bathroom stall. And this guy's, like, in the bathroom stall beside him or her, whatever. And he puts his ear up against the stall because he's like, oh, this is so cute. And he just gets stabbed in the side of the head. And then just blood starts just pouring out of his mouth. And I was like, just instant tears. I was like, no, turn it off. I was like, can't do this, Mom. And she was like, yep, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair. Fuck
so
that.
Worth the shot.
Yeah.
Worth the shot.
I can't believe it's 7 years old. Your mom's like, Scream 2? Sure. Yeah, sounds great.
Hey, you know what? I really wanted to watch it. And she was like, if you fucking want, just remember, you want this.
Yeah. I think my first scary movie, or not I think, I know my first scary movie was, I was older than 7, but I couldn't have been more than 10 or 11. And I was going over to my friend's house. This is the same friend that I did, as you guys heard on the previous episode, the same friend that I did Bloody Mary with. And the very first scary movie, her parents were really chill. They didn't really care too much what we were watching. And so we picked No Vacancy.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in so long. I forgot about that movie. I like that movie.
It's good, but at the age of 11, it was pretty. I just felt like queasy the whole time.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who don't know, basically it's about this hotel that, oh God, I can't even remember everything, but there's videotapes of people being abused. And then those people die, and then if you watch the video, the same thing will happen to you. But if you don't watch the video, it won't. But everyone watches the video because they want something to do in this hotel. And that's the only reason that there's vacancies, I guess, in the hotel, is because so that people can kill people who are watching these videos of this awful, awful stuff.
Yeah.
It was hardcore, and I watched it, and I was like, this is not for me. And I think that put me off horror movies for a little bit.
That was like, I was put off horror movies for a bit by The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, fair.
Because I made it to the scene where the dog dies, like, in the fucking mountain, and I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
The Hills Have Eyes, I've always had issues with goddamn outhouses, okay? I've always had problems with them. I know lots of people do, but, like, they make me want to freaking vomit. And then there's this one scene in The Hills Have Eyes, not the old one, but the newer one, where this construction worker is, like, using an outhouse, and fucking this hand comes out and grabs him by the dong and just, like, rips him down into the toilet.
Yes.
And that was it for me. I was like, I'm never using an outhouse again. Never. So, yeah, fuck that movie. Ugh.
Yeah, that's a freaky movie. Well, that's not my number one. But my number one, I feel, is a very underrated movie. Another movie that I forgot about until I was trying to jog my memory of movies that I've watched. The Taking of Deborah Logan. This movie, to this day, actually, like, honestly, freaks me the fuck out. So, basically, I'll tell you what it's about. Mia, Gavin, and Louise are a documentary team set to create a documentary about Deborah Logan.
Oh,
an elderly woman who has Alzheimer's.
Oh my God, this movie.
Yes. Deborah is reluctant to be filmed, but she agrees to the project after her daughter Sarah reminds her that they need money to keep the house from being repossessed. But basically, it's not fucking Alzheimer's. Deborah is, like, possessed. But it is, like, it's one of those movies, like, so here's the thing. Paranormal Activity got a lot of hype for being a good paranormal movie.
They weren't. Spoiler alert.
They were not. I mean, like, at the time,
they were fun.
They were good. Like, that movie did scare me but I think I was, like, I was pretty young when that movie came out, and I watched it, like, right when it came out. 2007. So what, that would have been...
That's 13
years ago. Yeah. So I would have been 11. I would have been 11 years old. And I watched that movie when it came out. I think I watched it in theaters with my mom.
Oh, Jesus.
I think I watched it in theaters with, like, my mom and Courtney or something.
Also, sorry, going back to Deborah Logan, just a small... Their budget was only $1.5 million.
And the movie is incredible.
It's phenomenal. It's
so good.
Like, I almost want to change my first one because it is so creepy.
Yeah, and like the lady, I can't remember her name.
Jill Larson?
That's who plays Deborah, right? Yeah. Oh my, like
she killed it.
Incredible. Fucking incredible. Even just watch the trailer for that movie. Yeah. Cuz it's so good. And the movie's not super long. It's only an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. But another thing, if you are a horror movie person, if you like horror movies never get good ratings on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, like, true. Never.
This one got like 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mm-hmm. So like the story is really good. Like the acting is so good, and it's just a freaking creepy movie. And like that's the thing is like obviously like it's more than Alzheimer's at the beginning because it's a horror movie, so you're like obviously this isn't a horror movie about Alzheimer's because that would be a little insensitive. But yeah, it's so good. Like the acting, and she's so creepy. There's this one scene where like, because basically like weird things start happening, so they're like, okay, well like we're gonna set up like not hidden cameras, but like we're gonna set up like basically security cameras in the house. Yeah. Because they're like, she's doing weird things at night. I'm like, we want to know what the fuck she's doing, because like literally this entire movie they're like under the impression that she just has Alzheimer's and her brain is kind of deteriorating and she's just doing weird gardening in the middle of the night. Yeah. But like it's so much more than that, and they like set up hidden cameras, and there's like this one scene where like she's at the end of the hall and they have like a light on her, like he's like got his camera and he's got a camera light on her. It is so fucking creepy. And she just like turns around at the end of the hall, and it is like, that's the thing about that movie is like it's not like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's got some good jump scares, but there's like a lot of like suspenseful like scenes where you're just like it's just silent and like she's like not really moving and you're like just waiting for her to do something. Like it's freaky. If Paranormal Activity was done really well, I think it would be this movie, because they've got the hidden cameras, but like it doesn't seem like tacky. And the thing with Paranormal Activity is I felt like they tried to make it too like, well, these are just like footage we found. Like, this was, like, footage that was discovered. Like, they tried to make it too much like that, so there was, like, so many scenes where it was, like, I literally don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Where, like, nothing was happening.
Yeah, like, nothing's happening. You're just videotaping them walking around. Yeah. And then you'll, like, see a ghost in the background, but, like, half the people who were watching the movie didn't fucking see it, because we don't pay that close of attention to every frame of the screen. Yeah.
I think the reason that the Deborah Logan movie, for me, just, like, was so good is because you're right, like when you start, obviously it's not just about someone who has Alzheimer's, but throughout the movie you don't know. You have no idea what the hell's going on. You can't, like, it's just so well done, because everything I think every single scene in that movie is purposeful. Every single thing that she does is purposeful, and everything is specifically made where it's like that is something that someone with Alzheimer's might do. And it's so scary because it's the way that they blend like mental illness and also actual possession is so fucking well done, because you have no idea what's going on, and then it just goes off the rails at the end. It's just honestly, and even like it's interesting because in all of the not the found footage, in all of the like the hidden cameras or the security cameras and stuff, like she's got like the cat flashback eyes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's just like just little things, like it's just so well done, and like I'm shook that it only had a budget of 1.5 million. Like they fucking killed it. It was so good.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, it's not on any streaming thing, so you'd have to rent it, but it's very, very, very good.
I was say it's probably only Netflix. Like $4.99 or something. So
it's from like 2014. It's like 6 years old, but it is so good. It's such a good movie.
And you're right. It's definitely, I would say it's like an underrated. Yeah. Not underrated, just not super crazy well known. Yeah. So those guys tend to be a little bit cheaper anyways, and so I totally recommend that. Yeah. Such a
and
great
if you've
movie.
like, I mean, she's not a huge actress, but like if you know who Jill Larson is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, it's insane, like how not herself she looks in that movie.
Yeah, like even,
and it's not a lot of makeup. Like it's not like she's got like heavy prosthetics on. Yeah. It's like just like her demeanor and everything. It's just she just did a phenomenal job. So yeah. Good.
Yeah, like even looking at the cast picture or whatever of Jill Larson versus the screen cap of the movie, like it's night and day. Yeah. It's a little crazy. Yeah. Yeah, just all around great movie. So creepy, so well done. The end just kind of goes off the rails, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah.
It's like one of those movies that just like progressively gets like worse.
Yeah.
You know, not worse, but like it just progressively gets like worse.
Crazier.
For the people in the movie.
And this movie, it's about like her daughter, right?
Yeah.
Her daughter is there, and so it's even scarier because it's about, you know, your child who's, you know, who is there and who's going to be like going through all of this with you, but she doesn't know. She thinks it's just Alzheimer's because that's exactly what it looks like, and that's what's so scary to me. And getting old is scary too, and it just makes you think about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm scared of mental health issues, but this movie made me a little scared of.
Well, I would say that I find Alzheimer's scary, not in terms of the fact of like I think that people with Alzheimer's are gonna kill anyone or do anything like that. It's just, I don't know, it's scary to me that you can just lose.
Yeah. Everything.
You know. Yeah. So. I'm gonna say I am scared of Alzheimer's, but not in a horror movie kind of way. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's that.
Those are our top 3 freaky deaky movies that stuck with us and freaked us out all these years.
Our top 3 that we think you should rent, you should watch.
I love horror movies, so if you guys have any suggestions of movies that were freaky to you,
totally. I love anything paranormal. Any sort of, like, that's my thing. I love paranormal horror movies. I don't know if you noticed, but I think all of mine were paranormal movies. I just find them so interesting, so fun.
Mm-hmm. Those movies, like, those type of movies scare me because I do believe in, like, the paranormal. So, like that to me is, like, it's a believable scary.
Yeah.
But, like, whereas, like, I mean, Hellfest, that's also a believable scary to me, but... Less believable than paranormal. Well, not less believable, but I feel like that's less likely than paranormal shit for me.
That's fair.
You know? Like, whereas, like, I really like Friday the 13th, and I really like Halloween. Like, those are really good movies, but it's just, I don't know if it's like a nostalgia movie, you know?
Yep.
Like, I've just been watching them for so long that
that you just
it's unrealistic, so it's not as scary to me because I don't think it's actually going to happen in real life. But that movie, that could fucking happen in real life, and that scares me.
Totally. So, yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys.
Thank you. Oh, God.
Same. We are on Instagram, Silence of the Hags at Instagram, or on Instagram, not at. We have email, that's silenceofthehags@gmail.com. Feel free to give us a shout if you have any scary movies, anything else you want us to talk about, anything like that. We're here for you guys. Let us know what you're liking, what you're not liking. And I guess we'll talk to you tomorrow for day 4 of Halloweek.
Yeah, wahoo.
Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.